Hey, good morning, guys.
Hi, guys.
Today what we're going to do is we are going to work on this I can statement. Today we are going to compare in order fractions, decimals, and mixed numbers in a given set from least to greatest or from greatest to least.
All right, so we have one example here, and we have some fractions, and we actually also have a decimal here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one strategy of how we can put these in order from least to greatest. All right, so if I was doing this, I would actually go ahead and see if I can put them all into decimal form first. So I know that 1/2 is going to be 0.5. All right, so I have that one memorized. I also know 2/5. So 2/5 is going to be 0.4 or 4/10. All right, this one's already done for us, so that's an easy one. And then 3/4, if I think about this as money, I know 3/4 is going to be 0.75 or 75 hundredths. So now I have them all into a format I like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all vertically lined up with the decimals here. So let me put that on right here. Okay, so now I have this. So typically what I do is I actually end up putting in a 0 as a placeholder and that missing spot. So I start over here on the left, and I know I'm going least to greatest. So in my ones place, I have 0, so I know I'm going to start there. And then I come over here to my tenths place, and I'm going to look at my smallest number. And so right now it's going to be the 3, but 3 won't work because I have this 1 here. So I'm going to come up here to my next smallest number, which would be 0.40, which is also 2/5. So I know this is going to be my first one. So I'm going to put 0.40. Okay, and I'm going to cross it off because now I'm done with it. All right, so next up, I'm going to go ahead and look again at my tenths place. I know I'm not looking at my 1.3 because that's too big. So now I have 0.5 and I have 0.7. Well, the 5 is smaller, so I'm going to go there. So that's going to be my next number. Cross it off. Done. Now I have 0.75, so I know that's going to be my next one. And last but not least is my 1.3. So here's my order from least to greatest. But this isn't in the format it was written, right? I have to go ahead and say, okay, 0.40, that's going to be my 2/5. So 2/5 comes first. Then I have my 1/2. And then I have my 3/4. And then I have my 1.3. Miss Phillips, how would you do this one, you think?
So I love converting to decimals, and if I remember decimals, this is exactly how I would do it. However, you can also use a number line. So I've gone ahead here and I've written the fractions, how they were presented initially: 1/2, 2/5, 1 3/10 as a decimal, and then 3/4 as a fraction. So I can use a number line, and I've gone ahead and I have drawn a number line between 0, 1 hole, and then there are 2 holes. In between I have 5/10 and 1 5/10. So what I would do is I'd plot these on my number line. That helps me determine least to greatest. So 1/2 as a fraction, I know is 5/10. I also wrote 1/2 here, so I can mark this 1/2. I also know 3/4. 3/4 is 75 hundredths. You just turn that into a decimal, but I also can look at that as 3 is close to the whole. 3/4.
Ms. Phillips?
Excuse us. Yes.
Yes. May I have these signed fluoride stuff, please, sent to the clinic?
You may.
All right, thank you.
It was a blooper, guys.
Sorry, y'all. There's an extra. So 3/4. 3 is close to 4. That means 4/4 being the whole. 3/4 is right there. And then 1 3/10. I would determine that out of 10 spaces, 1 3/10 is actually less than 5/10. I'm sorry. I did that wrong.
That's all right. Let's fix it. You had the 3/10 in the right place, but we have a 1 3/10, right?
1 whole. I messed up. So let's look again. 1 3/10 is 1 whole. In between 1 and 2, 1 3/10. And then finally 2/5. If I look at my denominator, out of 5, the halfway point would really be 2.5. So this is less than that halfway point. So I know that is going to fall over here with 2/5. And so I can order my numbers again at the top. 2/5 comes first. 1/2 is next. 3/4. And finally, 1 3/10.
Great. So you just saw 2 different ways that we could demonstrate that we understand how to order decimals from least to greatest.
Have a good night.